Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special unboxing to do with you guys. So this one here is a lucky bag, and it is the Juno Co lucky bag. Now if you're unfamiliar with who Juno Co are, they are the company that created this guy right here. As you can see, it's a well-used sponge. So this one here was the microfiber sponge. I did do a full dedicated review on this guy. If you are interested in checking that out, I will link it up in the cards up top now for you guys. But yeah, I first discovered this brand a couple of months ago now, and it was actually Nikki Tutorials did a review on this sponge, and that's kind of how I ended up hearing about them. Now, spoiler alert, I do quite enjoy the sponge, and if you are Australian, good news, and that is that Mecca Maxima have actually just started selling the Juno Co sponge in stores and online. So if you are interested in picking one up and you didn't necessarily want to have to ship it from, from the US, you can go into Mecca and pick one up for yourself to test out if you are interested. Okay, so onto this box. So it cost $25 US, including shipping and everything. It worked out to be about $34 Australian. And supposedly I'm going to be receiving about $75 US, thereabouts, worth of value in this box. So as you can see, I haven't opened it at all. Did want to do this all on camera with you guys, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so far this is what it looks like inside, nice and well packaged, and it does look like we have a fair amount of product in here. So, first thing that I can see is one of their microfiber sponges. Now this, I believe, is a new design to the one I was showing you just before. So let's just go ahead and open it up. So this is what it looks like. Now this one here definitely reminds me of the Fenty sponge. Here it is here. So this is a little bit dirty, so apologies. But yeah, so as you can see, the design itself is very, very similar to the Fenty sponge. It's just a lot bigger, and I'm sure once you, pop this into water, it will expand even more. But I really do appreciate the flat edge here and on this side as well. I think it's really, really handy, especially for getting, doing your under eye area. So I'm very, very excited to test this one out. I think I'm quite happy to have received that. Okay, so next up we have a palette, an eyeshadow palette, and it's called You Can Be Molten Rock Heat. Does this remind you guys of anything? I have a funny feeling I've seen this palette somewhere in my collection before. Let's just go ahead and have a look. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's got this little unicorn in here. And then, oh wow, we get a sponge and everything. And a little mirror too. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, so this obviously looks very, very similar to the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I've never ever actually heard of this brand before. I have to say, I don't know, I don't mind companies, I suppose, being inspired by other people's products, but at the same time, it's like, come up with something, have an original thought. I don't know. I'm just going to do a couple of swatches just to see. Okay, they look, the mattes look quite powdery, and okay. Well, that's what a couple of swatches look like. Don't know how I feel about that, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm not really into companies like copying other companies in such an extreme way. I'm all about, like, get inspired, be inspired, but to go ahead and straight out copy another company, I think it's a little bit much for me. So yeah, guys, just to sort of put the palettes side by side as a comparison, obviously we have the Urban Decay Naked Heat underneath and the You Can Be palette on top. And that's what the eyeshadows look like side by side. So yeah, not exactly the same, but pretty darn close. So yeah, as far as price point goes for these, I'm not actually too sure. I might have a quick look for you. Okay, so what's even more interesting is just by having a look on their website, I can't actually see this palette anywhere on their website, so I can't get a price for it, so therefore I have no idea how much it costs. And what I find to be quite interesting is that there's a product in the Juno Co Lucky Bag that doesn't appear on their website. That doesn't make the most sense to me. But we'll move on. Okay, next up, looks like we have some liquid lips. Now this is by Nice Face Matte Lip Gloss. Matte lip gloss. Okay, so maybe they're not liquid lips. So this is what the colours look like. So they all look very pink, quite pretty. Okay, so there are the 3 swatches. So, I mean, the colours aren't too bad, I don't think. I don't know, I've never heard of this brand before, so I might just, out of interest, have another look to see whether they are on the Juno Co website. Okay. So guys, just having a look, once again, it doesn't appear that this brand is sold on the Juno Co website. So I can't give you a retail price, unfortunately. It's even more interesting. Okay, next up we have a brush, and this is by Juno Co. It is the ES11 brush. Does feel extremely soft. It's like a little kabuki. Does feel really, really soft. Don't really usually go for brushes that have such a short, small handle, but I mean, I could imagine that would be quite nice to, you know, just brush away any excess powder or anything like that with. And as I said before, it does feel extremely soft. So, okay, next up we have another sponge by Juno Co, which is good. This is kind of what I wanted. So, oh, what an interesting design. Okay, so this one here has got a whole bunch of different sort of edges. This one here is quite curved, so that could be quite nice. Oh wow, okay, I can tell you right now that would be really nice for underneath the eye. Again, another flat surface here, and more of the rounded edge at the bottom. So really, really unique design. I'm really happy to have received that. I think that's really cool, and I already know that I like the sponge itself, so very, very happy to have received that. Right, is there anything else in here? Oh, yes. Okay, so we have another brush, and this is by Juno Co. Now this is definitely something I will be using for sure. So, it's an angled brush, does have quite a nice handle to it. I like handles that go quite thin, because if you own a lot of brushes and you have really thick handles, it can take up a whole bunch of space in whatever brush holder you're using, so that does make it storage wise, that is really quite convenient. So this brush here is the ES05 brush. So brushes like these, I personally really, really like these for blush. I also quite like them for contour as well, but usually these kinds of angled brushes I use for blush. Again, as I was saying before, it does feel really, really, really soft, and I'm very, very happy to have received that, so I think that's great. Okay, next up we have another brush by the looks of it. Oh gosh, okay. This is a fish brush. There it is. That's what, guys, what the hell am I going to use this for? Like, I'm on a real level, like the novelty of it I suppose is kind of cool, but like, what do you use this brush for? Can somebody please comment down below and let me know? Like, is it foundation? Is it for powder? Like, what the hell do people use this for? It just, I don't know. I don't get it. I think it's cute. It's a novelty thing for sure. But honestly, I would have much preferred another brush, or another brush or another sponge is, for me personally, what I 100% would have preferred to get. But that's cool. That's fun. Moving on. Okay, the last thing we have in here, this is by the same brand as the palette. It's called By You Can Be. This is interesting. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I feel like this looks just like Kat Von D's Alchemist palette, and I'm wondering whether it's gonna be like a dupe for that. Okay, so this looks to be a highlighting palette, and it does indeed look to be a dupe for the Kat Von D Alchemist palette. So I'm just going to go ahead and swatch a few of these, or I'll swatch all of them actually for you guys. So here are the swatches. Now I can tell you right now these are extremely powdery. That purple is a very pretty purple. Okay, so if you guys wanted to see a comparison between these two palettes, we have up top we've got the Kat Von D palette, down the bottom we have the You Can Be palette. So as you can see, very, very, very similar, clear, like everything about it, the layout, everything is exactly the same. So look, for me personally, like I said before with the heat palette, I'm all about companies being inspired by other companies, people being inspired by other people, you know, creating whatever it may be. But when you decide to bring out a product that is unapologetically basically exactly the same, I don't really like that. I just think that's a bit much. You know, at the end of the day, you can't reinvent the color wheel. Obviously, we all know that. But I think that, you know, it's fair to say that somebody like Kat Von D definitely puts a lot of time, a lot of effort. She certainly used to anyway. No tea, no shade, just saying. Into her products. And very clearly this has just been, it's just been totally copied. So yeah, interesting. And the other thing that I find to be super, super interesting is, once again, that this brand is nowhere to be found on the Juno Co website. So I can't give you a price of what it would be, of what it retails for, so I have absolutely no idea. So there's that. All right, that is it, guys. That is the entire box done and dusted. So look, when it comes to, I've watched a couple of mystery box unboxings and things like that, and a lot of the time I read in the comments, you know, people, especially when the person who's doing the unboxing is unhappy or whatever the case may be with what they got, a lot of the time people come for them and say, you knew it was a mystery, like, you know, you weren't supposed to know what you were going to get, da da da, you can't necessarily be unhappy. Well, what I have to say to that is simply this. When I receive an email from a company that is advertising a mystery box, and you then go onto that company's website and you see the products that that company sells, and on top of all of that, and I'm going to see if I can find my original email, I'm going to pop up, I'm going to put on the screen what the email looked like, because in my opinion, I think so far this has been quite misleading. So for memory, on the email and the photograph that it had brands like Elf, I think it was Folklore, brands that I had seen before, brands I was familiar with, and on top of that, brands that were clearly sold on the Juno Co website. Now, the only items that I received in this box that I do for sure know that are sold on the Juno Co website are these sponges and the brushes. Everything else that I received in this box is not sold on the Juno Co website, so I can't really, well, I can certainly Google it and do some research on the companies, the brands where it came from, but I'm not overly happy that I have to go to that effort to find that information out. You know, it should, theoretically, if you're buying a lucky bag or a lucky box from a business, it should contain products that that business sells, in my opinion. That's what I think. So the next lucky box that I will be unboxing on this channel will be hopefully coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm doing one from Beautylish. I did one last year from Beautylish. I'll link that up below, up top rather, if you want to check it out. But again, with Beautylish, yes, it's luck of the draw, obviously. But again, everything that comes in that box, I can guarantee you is sold on the Beautylish website. So that's my only thing about this box. I'm not unhappy. Do I think it was a waste of money? Maybe, kind of, yes, for me personally, because I'm only going to use these sponges and I'm only going to use this brush. So realistically, I probably could have just, for the $25 US, I could have gone and bought a few more sponges and maybe 1 or 2 more brushes for the same amount of money off of that site. So there's that to consider. So that I suppose is a little bit disappointing. You know, if the box had have come and it was totally jam-packed with these sponges or their brushes, I would have been so happy with that. I would have been absolutely thrilled with that. But because a lot of it seemed to have been filled with brands that they don't even sell themselves on their website, I'm a bit concerned. That's all I'm saying. I don't, and as I said before, I really, really don't like brands who do things like this. I just think it's lazy, and I think that, like, it's just not good enough, really. At the end of the day, I mean, and I know that people might turn around and say, yeah, but Victoria, you know, sometimes people can't afford the Kat Von D palette, or they can't afford the Urban Decay naked heat palette. And to that, I would honestly turn around and say I completely understand that, and I totally get where you're coming from. But if that's the case, I would go for something that my camera just cut out. So if that is the case, what I would say to that is that's fine. So go for another brand that is cheap, that will dupe it, and you know where the products come from, etc. Great example would be Colourpop. Another one would be Elf Cosmetics. Another one would be Wet n Wild, actually. Really, really good example. Wet n Wild, you've got the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and Modern Renaissance palette is very easily duped by one of Wet n Wild's palettes. So there are other options out there, and they do it a lot more tastefully than something like this company. You know what I'm trying to say? That's just my 2 cents. So guys, I hope you liked this video. I know it was kind of a little bit different because normally I'm quite positive and happy and excited, mainly because I know exactly what I've got and what I'm filming with. But this time around it was a little bit different, and this is just my absolute honest opinion and review on this. So will I be doing the Juno Co Lucky Bag next year? No, I won't be. Do I still think they make bomb sponges that are really fantastic? Yes, I do. Will I continue to buy these sponges? Absolutely I will. So that's my thoughts on it. That's my total thoughts on it, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. And that's it, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.